Hi there. Hello. Hope all is good with you. Today we're going to talk about when life hurts. For everybody walking the earth, there are times, unfortunately, that we're in pain. And it happens to everybody, whether you're rich, whether you're poor, whether you're black or white or young or old. Sometimes things just happen and we are in pain. Perhaps there was a death, a pet dying, a person dying, maybe a relationship ended, or you might have suffered a big disappointment or a betrayal or a setback. Regardless of what happened, there are things that we can do to feel a little bit better, and we're going to talk about those today. And at the end, I have a little pick-me-up, and hopefully the little pick-me-up will make you feel a little bit better. So, what helps when you're hurting? Please know that often, unfortunately, nothing can fix what hurt you. Sometimes it can be fixed, but oftentimes it can't be. For instance, if you experienced a death of your pet, of your dog or cat, nothing is going to bring a pet back from the rainbow bridge. But there are things that we can do to start to feel better, to start to feel in less pain. They all pretty much involve a person or people that care about you and that you care about, people that you have connection to. And somebody that you have a connection to can provide you with a hug. Sometimes just the feeling of physical contact of two people next to each other, two hearts really close to each other. The hug feels like a warm blanket. And again, maybe can't fix the problem, but just makes you feel loved, and that can help. Another thing that can help is to talk about it. I understand that everybody wants to talk about what's bothering them. And for me personally, when I have something really upsetting in my life, very often I want to sit with it for a while and kind of process it before I can talk about it. But at some point, talking about it, getting it off your chest to somebody that you have a connection with, or sometimes even a stranger. Sometimes talking to a stranger would be very helpful. So unloading, getting things off your chest can help with the pain. Another thing that can help sometimes, if you want it, is advice. Very oftentimes, somebody doesn't want advice about their problem. But if you do want advice, it can help. On a personal level, I went through a very hard time about 2 years ago. We moved from New York, which I had lived my entire life, to Pennsylvania and bought a house in a 55-plus community and left everything and every place that I know. What was I thinking? What were we thinking? We bought the house as a new construction, and when we sold our old house, the new house wasn't ready yet. So we put most of our things in storage and moved into a hotel for 3 months. It wasn't supposed to be 3 months, but the house took 3 months rather than 2 months to be ready. During that time, unfortunately, my husband developed sepsis, which is a very serious illness. I didn't really know much about it until he had it. What sepsis is, something in your body becomes infected. It can come from a tooth infection, an infection on your finger, an infection internally, and then infection, rather than clearing up, spreads throughout your body via your bloodstream. So your whole body becomes infected and your organs start to shut down. Your heart, your kidneys, and sepsis can be fatal. So my husband was diagnosed with sepsis, and I was here all alone. Oh gosh, I'm going to start to cry. I was here all alone. The older son was in New York. My younger son was in school in Tennessee. My friends were all back in New York, 3 hours away. didn't even know when he first got sick what hospital to take him to because they didn't know anything about the hospitals or where they were. Suffice it to say, it was a very difficult, trying time that really tested my strength. One of the things that made me feel better, there were several, but the one outstanding thing that made me feel better was that my older son, who works remotely, came down to stay with me. He couldn't fix the problem. Talking about it was sort of helpful. Him hugging me, his physical presence was sort of helpful. But what was really helpful was just his presence. He was just there, and I knew that he cared, and I didn't feel so alone. So when you're having a hard time and you're hurting, just the feeling of not being so alone and people providing comfort in whatever way is good for you helps. I walked through that, and that was my experience. I just want to mention one more thing about what can help. And again, this is something that's helped me when I'm hurting. Crying really helps. I don't mean just like ladylike little tears. I mean down and dirty, ugly crying. The tears are streaming and your nose is running, and it's what they call an ugly cry. You let out all that sadness and the hurt and the frustration and anything else, and it comes out, and it lifts you because that heaviness, that sadness is weighing you down. So that ugly crying helps. I don't call it ugly crying. I don't know what I call it, but when somebody is brave enough to let out their emotions in such a deep way, it's actually a beautiful thing. It's very brave, and it's very bold, and there's nothing ugly about it. In conclusion, today is a very, very heavy chat, right? And here's the pick-me-up part that I promised to you at the beginning of this video. To all of you who are going through a hard time, I see you. I feel you. I am so proud of you for walking, for living through your pain day by day, being strong. And I want you to keep going. Just put one foot in front of the other and keep going. I know that it will get better. Over time, it will get better. So please, just hang in there. I love you guys. Have a good day.